Sanbonani once more, and welcome once again to my channel. My name is Khotom Pondlovu. So we're on our topic. Actually, we still continue on our previous topic, where we just proclaimed that the AFCON of 2023, which was played now in 2024, is the best international football tournament that we've witnessed in the past 10 years. In fact, I'm gonna stretch it. I'm gonna stretch it and get a little bogus. It's actually the best international football tournament we've watched ever since the 2006 World Cup. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so too. There were really no favorites in this one. They really didn't know what to expect, when to expect it. So, yeah, I agree
Expect
with
the
you.
unexpected would be
Exactly,
what we
yeah.
tell people.
So basically, what happened was the people that you expected to actually pull up their socks and hit
Not
this
really pull
tournament.
up their socks, but rise to the occasion.
Yeah, rise to the occasion. They actually
They didn't do that.
they didn't do that.
Okay, but we've just actually, with what we just said, in saying that it's the best we've seen after the 2006 World Cup, you must highlight that we've just included 3 more tournaments on what we've previously proclaimed on our past video, which are the 2008 Euro. We've just included the 2010 World Cup in our very country, South Africa. We've just also included the 2012 not World Cup, Euro actually. So what do you think about AFCON versus that? And we've also included the 2008 AFCON, which was amazing. Also the likes of Mohamed Abu Trika. I remember the 2010 AFCON where Mohamed Nagy, who was nicknamed Ghetto, was a super sub in each and every game for Egypt. That Egypt was amazing. But we've just spoke about against them and saying that the AFCON is the best. So what do you think about those tournaments? Mainly, to be specific, the 2010 World Cup in terms of being competitive versus the AFCON.
I think for my side, they were always favorites. You always knew who was number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Or you always knew who would be in the quarterfinals.
Spain went to the tournament
exactly.
ranked number 1.
Exactly.
We expected Germany to make the semi-finals, which they did. We didn't expect Germany to stand Argentina in the manner in which they did, though. But you remember Germany knocked out Argentina off the 2006 World Cup already. So it was a young Germany, but it came still with the same level of fire that Germany had in 2006 when they were hosting the World Cup. So Germany was expected to rise to the occasion in the manner in which they did. Brazil, it was a new Brazil without Ronaldinho. People were expecting them to not go as far as they actually didn't go far. Which other team came as favorites? The Netherlands. Okay, but the Netherlands actually got all the way through to the finals.
But for the 2010 World Cup,
Yeah,
don't remember also the
Uruguay.
the previous tournament winners, Italy. They were also expected to.
Or a
rise
show
up to
could
the
be
occasion.
France, actually, based on the competition level. We're not saying the 2010 World Cup was not competitive, because remember, France, the former world champions, got knocked out early, and they actually lost to the host South Africa.
No,
if
but
you
in
remember
2006, France didn't win the World Cup.
No. France, they were finalists on the
Yeah, they were
2006 World
finalists.
Cup. Or Italy, where
Italy,
they won
yes.
it,
They
but
didn't
they
rise
got
up to the
knocked
occasion
out
themselves,
the group
yeah.
stage also.
No, wasn't it round of 16?
No, group stage.
Yeah, those
Yo.
groups.
They lost early. They lost very, very
And
early.
it seems like it's always been like a thing. It doesn't like occur like every World Cup, but like if you look at it,
Germany,
almost
to be
Yeah,
specific.
Germany did the same.
France actually broke that
See-
curse with coming as favorites, having won the previous World Cup and rising to the occasion with remaining favorites.
because like
and
if you look
making
at it,
all the
like
way through to
most
the
of these
finals.
teams that actually win the World Cups, when they come back to the next one,
They struggle
they struggle and they end up getting knocked out group
early.
stages.
Yeah, it happens
So-
a lot. So I mean, that is what we actually have come to. Okay, but in a way, we stretched our conversation to. Feel free to actually comment otherwise on the comment, or maybe if you see it in a different way, can give us a response. Maybe you might come join us on our next video. But on to our topic. Our topic is with AFCON being competitive to the level that it was competitive at, in a way we've put it within our videos. Which 9 countries do you want to see in the World Cup? So I'll give you a list of what I've mentioned and what you have mentioned. There's where we agree and there's where we don't agree. And I think even the man behind the camera can tell us his views of what we've actually came to. So who I've mentioned as the countries that I've liked to see, we're going to only mention 8 because we both want to see South Africa make it through. So on your 8, obviously excluding South Africa, we're not going to speak about them as our analysis for them, would be a little biased. No, not really biased, but maybe would be considered biased as we are fans of Bafana Bafana. But you have mentioned on your side. You can give a breakdown of your list. Actually.
I mentioned Morocco. You know, they're still powerful. You know, I think they're gonna bring back their old squad to the next World Cup.
I mean,
you know,
it actually stands with no question that this current generation of Morocco is the best Morocco
yeah, it is.
team ever.
It is ever.
So with the good run that they've had at the previous World Cup, not only are we expecting them to be in the next World Cup, but they want to be in the next World Cup and compete. That's for sure.
Right.
So they want to show what they are made of, and I think they believe more that they can go all the way now with their previous great run. I think it's a reasonable one because
Yeah.
I've also mentioned Morocco. So I think on the ones that we've both mentioned, I'm gonna speak with you, but on the ones that I've mentioned and you didn't mention, on the ones that you mentioned that I didn't mention, that's when we can start the
Oh,
argument.
okay. I see.
Um,
So on my other one, I see my friend has mentioned Angola, which will come as a surprise to all of you. You know, they have a very, very technical team and they have a very powerful front three. You know, so Angola is going to surprise you all the next 2 years.
we've
you know,
both mentioned Angola.
yeah, we
didn't
both did. Yeah,
Also,
we
we're
both
gonna
did.
both speak for the ones we've mentioned.
Yes.
Cape Verde, I think they were the best team. They were the best ball playing team at the AFCON.
Are
What do
you
you
sure
think?
it's not the women?
Yeah. Come on. So everyone I've seen on social media, everyone's speaking about Cape Verde. They speak more about the women rather than about the football. But let's speak about the football, guys.
Maranya muzini vanhu vavonile lava first now.
Let's speak about football. What do you think Cape Verde was the best football playing nation in the world?
I enjoyed
And not
watching
in the
team.
world. Hey, we're stretching it too far now.
I enjoyed
AFCON.
watching the team. Like I enjoyed watching the team. Like the kind of football they were playing.
Yeah, they were playing beautiful
It
football.
was beautiful.
Not just beautiful
It was
football in
beautiful.
terms of them on how good they are on the ball, but on how tactically disciplined they are, how solid their
The
defense is.
counters is very powerful.
Yeah,
I definitely didn't
off and on the ball, they were the best team in the AFCON.
I definitely didn't expect that from a country like a footballing nation like Cape Verde.
I
Like,
think
nobody did.
I think if football was purely about playing, not really about competing as far as knockout football is concerned, Cape Verde would have won the AFCON. They were the
Exactly.
best
Yeah.
ball playing nation in the AFCON. That's what I think. I think they were the best ball playing team. So Cape Verde, for sure, we want to see them in the World Cup. I think they can surprise a lot of people when they get there. We both mentioned Nigeria. They're not playing the best football, but very tactically disciplined.
Yes.
Have some world-class players, and their individual brilliance can win them games, which I think they can have a good run at the World Cup. What do you think?
Yeah, if they can qualify so that we can get our revenge in the World Cup, it's fine. I'm with that.
Yeah,
I'm with that.
Absolutely.
What a better stage to actually get our revenge.
Yeah,
from
we must embarrass our friends in public.
Yeah.
To the world, not to the continent. In the world stage, actually.
we owe them that much.
Yeah, no, they owe us big time. We both mentioned Mali.
Yeah, Mali. Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing scrappy also, just like Nigeria, but very tactically disciplined.
Yeah.
So I think we want to see Mali at the World Cup for sure, but I don't think they're gonna have a good run. They might crash out at the group stages, but they're one of the best when it comes to being organized and being compact at the AFCON. We cannot dispute that, and I think it's all because we're gonna see 9 African countries compete at the World Cup.
yes.
But if there is a country that rises to the occasion in playing better, most definitely they can take Mali's spot. And you mentioned the host nation. Wow, that's interesting. And I didn't mention Ivory
Ivory
Coast.
Coast.
Do you think they would go to the World Cup? They have what it takes to compete there.
They're fighters. They deserve to. They are fighters.
But
I
I think
think-
it
I
comes
think
with
it's
the
all
home
about fight, 'cause,
advantage.
like,
There's no home advantage at the World Cup, guys. They're gonna
Yeah.
play in USA.
If you can put up a good fight, and then you're made for
I
tournament
think
football.
that is more.
You are made for it.
I think that is more about the home the home advantage rather than it is
yes.
about the fighting spirit. I think that I'm not saying that their fighting is less credible or it means less, but I think it's easier for one to put up a fight when they are playing at
I
home.
feel like if it
That's
was-
like South Africa having beat France.
I feel like if that was the
You know,
case,
we having witnessed it firsthand.
I feel like if
Do
that
you
was the
think we'll
case,
beat
they
France outside the
would have
country?
thingy. I feel like if that was the case, I feel like they would have like settled with actually just reaching the semi-finals and stuff. If it was a thing of like being pressured by the home crowd and stuff like that, 'cause, like the fight that they've shown for me, top class. It's made for tournament football like this. It's
So
made for it.
I'm a little in between. I think Cote d'Ivoire has not been the same ever since the likes of
Yeah, it's
Didier
not playing.
Drogba,
It's
Yaya
not playing.
Toure,
It's not playing the
and
best
Gervinho
football,
played.
but then like the fight that they actually.
Yes, yeah.
I don't
They
know.
know how to finish games.
Or maybe-
Those
or maybe it's
big players
because-
always step up to the
That's what
plate,
you need
so-
for tournament football.
Exactly.
Or maybe it's
You
because
don't need that the nice style, the nice style of football, the pure football.
Yeah.
You need those scrappy wins. You need to
Exactly.
fight and claw for it.
know when to finish the game and
Exactly.
yes, when to defend.
No matter how scrappy it might be, even if your football is not attractive, as long as you have results, it's good.
Well, if I have to be honest with you, maybe it's because when I first started watching African football, they've always been an exciting team to watch. So with having seen them actually, maybe I'm putting so much pressure on the current Ivorian
Generation,
squad,
yes.
the current generation of their squad, and with me expecting them to be like the likes of Gervinho, Didier Drogba, Yaya Toure, and seeing them not being anywhere close to that. Even the most talented of players, Frank Casey, is not rising to the occasion in the manner in which I've expected him to. I'm not looking forward to watching them at the World Cup. If they make it, great, but it's not in the manner in which I'd be supporting or vouching for the likes of Cape Verde in the manner in which you've spoken about them. So you mentioned Senegal. Did I mention Senegal too? I think it was a mistake with me not having mentioned Senegal, because I believe Senegal should also go there. But let's speak about one in which I've mentioned, one that you didn't mention, the DRC. Why not mention DRC?
I think
They've just had a good run,
it's
but
a
they're
good
not
run,
generally a good team.
it's no good football. At the end of the day, someone needs to win. I think they got through until the semi-finals through that.
But I'm looking deeper into the DRC, to be honest with you, with how the best they have as far as their football is concerned is TP Mazembe. And
Okay.
TP Mazembe having rose back to the top of African football, having made the group stages of the CAF Champions League. Starting to believe that the DRC is actually, doing well. It's not really the best football era as we've seen more from the DRC, but they actually are doing quite well.
Okay.
So I would love to see the DRC make it to the World Cup and hopefully the knockout stages of the World Cup. What do you think about the DRC? Oh, you like Aaron's content, so
Obviously, so I'm supporting that team because of Aaron.
okay.
No
and
lie.
now he speaks for the DRC.
Yeah.
I get that. And then another one that you have mentioned Burkina Faso. I think they have to be giants in African football. And what your take of the
And what
DRC
happened to
of-
that team actually? Because like at some point, they
It's
used
not
to
the
be-
same as
they used to be a
the-
fierce nation.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
They used to be fierce.
They've had their best run and it's slowly coming to an end. I think it's approaching its end now, and I don't think they have the fortitude of actually making it all the way through to the World Cup or even making the knockout stages if they do. So
Back to the drawing board for them actually.
absolutely back to the development, back to the drawing board, back to a coach which will start building a team. Because on the current group of players that they have, I doubt they have it in them to go all the way through. But I mean, this is football, man. We're welcome for surprises at any time, And then the last one, we're going to speak about one that I've mentioned. Which one do you want to pick apart, Tunisia or Algeria?
I'll say, well, let's talk about Algeria. For me, that team needs to start over.
You think
They,
they have
they,
to
they
get
had
back to
they had
the
a
building
very
stage?
good generation.
Yeah,
Mahrez, Slimani.
yeah.
But I mean, they need to start over now. It's back to the drawing board. Didn't work for them.
We're watching Algeria, man.
Yes, but they got knocked out. Experience comes until some stage. So they got knocked out. I don't believe they'll get to the World Cup.
I bet
I
you.
don't believe so. Not with this squad.
Yeah, their quality has been dying down.
Exactly.
Ever since they won the AFCON. Since they won the AFCON, they haven't been the same.
You think they've been too held on or maybe psychologically invested too much on the good quality they've had and the magic football that they've had, and they haven't moved past that? I think we've seen such a struggle in football terms when it comes to Spain. It was really hard for them to succeed, the likes of Iniesta, as they've had. I think when you find your football's peak and you find so much magic in your football, it's really hard for one to succeed that generation.
Yeah.
I mean,
And also, you
even-
can't repeat the same thing that one generation did.
Exactly.
You
It was a
just
unique,
can't.
it was a
The
unique
solutions-
and brilliant type of players.
The solutions of
generation had.
yesterday are not solving the problems of today. I
Exactly.
always say
So
in
you
football
cannot
sense.
replicate what was done before.
I mean, we've seen that at the highest level of club football, even we don't have to go to international football. Man United, when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer tried to implement what Sir Alex Ferguson did, backfired dearly. We've seen Xavi.
It worked for a season,
Yeah.
but coming back,
We've seen Xavi at Spain trying to actually bring back the Spanish identity on Barcelona, which ended up being viewed as a bias where he chose Spanish players over other players whom people argued deserved to play. And I think that's actually been one of the things which caused a failure in his projects at Barcelona. So I think Algeria is a good team. They play good football. They still have a lot to contribute. I think not really a complete succession or the restructure, but just add there and there. Firstly, they need to invest in stability, get a good young holding midfielder to actually give the likes of
And-
Mahrez freedom to play.
question:
Yeah.
what do you think about young African players actually abandoning their home countries and playing in Europe? Don't you think, like,
it's a
if
bit of
something
a-
if something like that went to happen and they were committed to the African countries, don't you think it would actually like add more quality to the African sides?
No, but I think what matters is that the coach make the most of the. I'm gonna give you a football answer because I don't want to dwell too much on the politics. So my football take on it is that let's win this battle through football. If we keep on having an AFCON which is competitive to the level in which our most recent AFCON has been competitive to, even these players are keen to come and play for their countries. Lyle Foster has not said it, but deep down, he must regret not having came through for South Africa.
It's like,
When you look at how South Africa needed goals, but how good South Africa was, then how nice of a run South Africa had.
the example that I would like to use is completely not related to football. Do you see how Asian countries, specifically China and Japan, how they send their students to the US to learn a certain skill and then they come back with that skill home? They do not spend the rest of their lives there and contribute to that country, but then they take what they learned from the country and they take it back home. Hence, they start competing against the US. I feel like if it would be the same like that when it comes to football, sending your players abroad to learn whatever it is that they learn about European football and coming back and
Yeah, but
contributing
those are
to home soil.
conversations to change the world. But we've seen the likes of Samuel Eto'o actually get into being the president of the Federation of Cameroon Football. So, like I said, it's a conversation for another day. But let's speak about the football take on it. If the coaches keep on giving us quality competition football in the manner which they did with this AFCON, I think that is how. I'm not saying we can win it. It's bigger than actually our football take on it. But football, good quality competitive football, can actually fight it. That our players actually come to compete for their countries with pride. If you see the likes of Victor Osimhen having fought for their countries in the manner in which they did, young players who are playing in Europe are actually keen to give up a fight in the manner in which these other players did. You know, so however, there must not be an export bias against local players. A player playing in Europe doesn't mean that he's entitled to a national team call-up if they are not performing well enough to earn a national team call-up. So the likes of Andre Onana, I've questioned his selection for his national team because he's not performing well at Man United. He's not
Exactly.
doing enough to earn a national team call-up. So why call him up?
It takes me back to, I don't remember which season it was, when the national squad called up Dolly when he was still overseas.
Yeah.
When he actually in that season played a total of 80 or 90 minutes the entire
Sometimes
season.
these players
But
are not
he was
even playing at all.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and he was still
Exactly.
called up.
Just
for
Some
because
of them
a
are
player
playing
is an
400 years.
export, they actually now, because it not only kills the team competing at a good level, but even the environment within players. You feel like I'm putting up a shift for my national team. I'm doing the best I can, and I'm performing at a level which is better than this current player. I'm at better form.
Yeah.
But why are they getting special treatment? It creates a division within the dressing room itself. So
It's the same as the Pirates goalkeeper, Ofori.
Richard Ofori
Why call him up?
is
Why
not
call him
a
up?
regular player.
Exactly. He's like fourth.
So
in
you
his
think a
team.
goalkeeper who's playing in Ghana should have been given a chance, a regular playing goalkeeper in
Someone
Ghana?
they
who's
must
playing,
have
who's actually bringing up numbers and actually playing well.
Yeah,
should be
they're
called
having
up.
clean sheets and
Yeah.
whatever.
exactly.
Yeah,
So he's not even playing one game with Pirates.
he has not played much yet. He was
Yeah.
injured. And even at Pirates, he wasn't performing much. He doesn't have a reasonable number of clean sheets to actually be considered by the nation for the national team, but the coach called him. And I think if you have a question selection like that, it's okay for us to question the selection of a coach. You know, we football fans, we actually want to have opinions which are not in line with how the coach sees things. However, if you see things in a certain way as a coach, it's your responsibility to make sure that these players that you've selected, that we question the selection of, compete at a wonderful level that we're like, okay, the coach was biased, but look at how the player is performing.
So
If
you
Onana
made that
kept a
decision-
clean sheet, if he put up a stellar performance, we would have questioned the selection of Rigobert Song, but being like, okay, but look at the level that Onana is performing at.
So you make the decision and you own up to.
You must own up to it. I mean, the works of the
Take the
player should speak for
responsibility
you.
of the outcomes.
Exactly. Take responsibility of the decision which stands question that no, it was not a bad decision after all. But that's it from us, guys. And feel free to actually give us comments in terms of what you think about the content. And most importantly, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you.
Sharp, sharp.